So I would say it's a fantastic time to start a business. Why? Because there is a wealth of new opportunities that didn't exist before. You know, the tides have just changed, and in that moment of sea change, there's thousands of fish flopping up on the beach that have no idea where to go and what to do. And if you can find the pathway to water, you are the winner. So, you know, there's no end of opportunities. There's also a ton of talent. There's a lot of people who've been recently laid off who are looking for new things to do. And it's in those, you know, liminal moments when people don't know what's next that if you have a vision, you can readily gather people to help achieve that. Also, people have greater pains that they've never had before. Not then they've never had before, but they have new pains that haven't existed. And with each and every one of those new pains comes a new opportunity to be able to find the solution to that pain. So, great time to start a business. Go, go, go. Optimism is essential. You know, as an entrepreneur, you are trying to do something that is impossible. We were trying to create brain computer interfaces that could allow people to control stuff with their brain back in, you know, 2009. And we
Wow.
were trying to make a meditation device that would help you meditate that would end up in Best Buy in 2012. Like stuff that just is not logical. And the only way to accomplish that is to have a little bit of magical thinking and to believe that the impossible is possible. And when you do that and you do that passionately enough and engagedly enough, you're able to have other people believe in it with you too, and all together, you know, stretch themselves beyond the realms of what seems possible. So the mindset of an entrepreneur, it's essential that you're able to manage your own naysaying and manage the naysayers around you, while at the same time being rational and logical enough to actually deal with the real problems that are around you and actually be able to confront them and deal with them and move forward.
And first day, I had exactly 0 people download my app. Day 2, my mom downloaded it. Day 3, I finally got my wife to download this product. And what I'm trying to showcase here is that in the early days when you're building this, at least I'll speak for me. In the early days of building my product, the first 2 years, it was a grind. It was a ton of work. But Ariel, the other thing that you mentioned is this relentless passion, and this unforgiving like passion to not give up when everyone says, "Hey, this is stupid." If you do that for long enough, one day your friend will have coffee with you. And again, true story. One day your friend will have coffee with you and say, "Hey, Ryan, you have an actual business. You should quit your job and work on UpKeep full time." And that's one of the moments for me, at least, where I looked back and said, "Holy moly, you know, this was 2 years of grinding it out, but I turn around and see how far I've come." I think the thing for me, again, going back to like my background, solo founder, worked in mom's garage for about 2 years. I was the number one salesperson, number one product person, number one engineer, support, customer success. And as we grew, I think one of the most difficult things, and I didn't really realize it until I started, until we started growing more and I started seeing this resistance, but it was really centered around giving up control. Once for us, again, being like a hardcore like product person, a big optimist, trying to sell the product, what I started to realize was that, hey, at some point, I don't become the best and the number one product person, the best and the number one salesperson either. And it's really about hiring and bringing on people that are way smarter than me, and enabling them to grow and thrive and strive in this role, knowing that they're going to be way better than I am and I could be.
I think one of the things that people underestimate is the value of not the right answer, but the right question. And oftentimes you're faced with things that look like I have to decide between A and B. And if you step back a bit, you'll find it actually is a different question that, if answered right, will help clarify where you're headed. We have this term we use for it. We call eigen questions. It's named after a math term for eigenvectors. And the basic idea is when faced with 10 questions, there's often one question where, if answered, it not only answers the other 9 questions, it also answers 10 that you haven't yet asked. And I think one of the things that good teams get really good at, and you'll spot it quickly, is they understand how to spot the eigen question and answer that question first.
I'm going to build off of what Ryan said. So, one of the hardest things I had to do was actually give up my spot as the CEO. And that's, the really difficult one. You built this entire company, you feel like you know how to run it. And I was 3 months pregnant and did not want to be the CEO of a company with a baby. I did not want to be a Marissa Meyer with, a nursery in my office. And it was so difficult for the ego to do what was actually the right thing for me and the business. And that was the moment where it's like, okay, I'm walking away. I mean, I'm still part of the company. I'm still very active in it, but I'm walking away from the control of everything and handing it to somebody else. And I have to trust that I've built something that is bigger than me, that will exist beyond me. And that's, such an important lesson as your company grows and scales, because the thing that you've built, you no longer own. Your investors own it. You're left with 20, 10, 5, 2%, depending on how lucky you are by round C, D, E, etc. And it is no longer yours. And that has to be okay. And you have to very quickly learn how to let somebody else run it, how to get out of the way, how to facilitate everybody else's most positive interactions. And it is absolutely not about you. So that is one of the biggest lessons that you, if you are lucky, get to learn. Money isn't gotten in a day. So these are relationships that you're building. It's not about one pitch. It's about a continued relationship, showing your growth and showing that you're coachable, showing that you're able to listen to the advice of the investor or potential investor, both hold your own in the conversation and bend and bow to their advice and be able to incorporate it and then show them your trajectory over time.
Fundraising and receiving capital is not the end. It's not even the start. The start is really building a product that people love. The path towards getting and gaining money and gaining a VC investment is by building an awesome product that's growing like wildfire. So focus on that, and then fundraising will come. I think the second thing I'll just throw in, Sam, is one of the best pieces of advice that I got from YC is, when you say you're going to go fundraise, that's what you're going to do. I wouldn't do it 365 days of the year. You go heads down. You say, I'm going to commit to fundraising, and I'm going to commit to a 1 month, 2 month, 3 month process, and that's what I'm going to focus on. Because fundraising can be extremely distracting.